join me. Got a long ride ahead, I could use some company. I got 6 strings, 10 fingers, 10 toes. I'ma run these souls as far as they can go. 'Cause I'm a string, an instrument, a chime. And who am I to think that the time that ticks is mine? Hey, run into my gravestone, quick. Run into the angels, hey.
Welcome to the School of Hidden Knowledge podcast and live stream. The information being shared with you is top of the food chain knowledge. Please use the strategies and techniques discussed in this broadcast wisely. Your host, Ronnie Sandelin, will be your wizard to guide you through your journey towards freedom, discovery, and higher knowledge. Remember to know thyself and pay no attention to the opinions of sheep.
We live today in a golden age. This is an era that man has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. But since it's here, we pretty well take it for granted. You know, for 20 years, I looked for the key which would determine what would happen to a human being. Was there a key I wanted to know which would make the future a promise that we could foretell to a large extent? Was there a key that would guarantee a person's becoming successful if he only knew about it and knew how to use it? Well, there is such a key, and I found it.
All right, so we're still getting the timing on this whole thing, this whole operation. I'm glad that you made it. Another live stream. I wasn't going to talk about politics or anything or the economy, but this came up, and I was like, all right, so I have to talk about this. And then I'm going to be doing a copywriting workshop. I'm going to be showing you exactly how I write. And everything good?
You have the box tracking your face.
Oh, could you just press the? Yeah, I'll let you know what. Just press the top button on the camera. Yeah, yep, perfect. You got it. You got it. Oh, I don't see it. Okay, now it's back. All right, I don't know. All right, so now it's off. All right, so no big deal. Steve will figure that out. I'll keep talking. We're still getting all the kinks out of this. You know, there's a lot to learn with this, obviously. So anyway, the point I was trying to make is I wasn't going to talk about this, the House politics or anything like that, but today some crazy shit just happened, so I had to at least comment on it. The House easily passes $1.3 trillion spending bill. Okay, the House easily passed $1.3 trillion. So you guys know, if you've watched my previous broadcast, you know that I'm big on talking about the national debt. That's currently sitting at somewhere around $175,000 per U.S. taxpayer. Hello, Alan. Hello, everyone that's joining. Okay, so what are we doing? We're already $175,000 approximately in debt per taxpayer. This is not even including personal debt, such as student loan debt, auto debt, mortgage debt, credit card debts, all these other debts that people accumulate in their life. In fact, we talked about how most Americans die broke and in debt. They don't even have a surplus. They don't have an estate to pass on. They die owing money, and that they're people that they have to. Excuse me. Let me reword this. They end up dying broke. So this is very, very bad. All right. So we're spending more. It easily got passed, and I started looking at it, and I'm like, okay, so what are they spending the money on? This money that doesn't exist, that they have to borrow, that we're already eyes deep in debt. So I'm looking at, okay, so it's $1.6 billion for border security. Whatever, that's obviously a Trump thing. Hundreds of millions of dollars to the new fence. Obviously, it's going to get trumped up as all this crazy spending on the fence. But hundreds of millions of dollars is nothing when it's a $1.3 trillion spending bill. Okay? And the major item that they're spending money on is more military. So do you think that we need to be spending money on more military? I personally don't think anyone's trying to attack us now with our military that we have, right? I don't think people are looking at us and saying, hey, look, they're not spending enough on military. Now is the time to attack America. So I don't think it's a good way to spend the money we don't have, personally. So I had to talk about that. Obviously, you guys know many Americans are in debt. I'm in the debt industry. I recommend that you service people that are in debt. That's going to be a huge growing industry. Unfortunately, right? I would rather be in an industry that wasn't like that, but here we are, right? And this is what I'm recommending that you at least look at. I'm not saying that this is the only path to make money or the only path, but this is, to me, the easiest way to secure your business and hedge it against the future economic crisis that is going to hit us. Now, again, people say I'm doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom. Now it's the good stuff, okay? Now I'm going to talk about the fun stuff. No more of the political stuff, okay? I'm going to put this pile right here, and go ahead and show the post, Steve, that I did the other day, the Ask Me Anything post. Okay, so I just did this Ask Me Anything where I have 72. I'll probably extend it. I want to work with you. I want you to submit your copy. I want to go over it. I'm going to create custom pieces for you, and it's going to be really cool. So I charge a lot of money to do this. In fact, my business partner and my business were like, is this a good idea? You may be cutting into the core business, which is a lot of the business that we do is consulting. So, hey, look, I'm gonna go on a limb and give a bunch of value and say, you know what, crazy Ronnie over here, just giving. Okay, so switch over to my screen, make sure that we see it. So let me know if you see it, Steve. Do you see? Yeah. Hey, it's Ronnie Sandlin, and I'm over here in Dominican Republic in Punta Cana. I'm just hanging out on a pier, and I'm glad that you're here with me because in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be traveling the world. I hear that. Okay, now we're good? Okay. Why am I hearing the, do you hear that? Headphones? Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm right here. I'm going to write a custom advertorial for Mike Bontempo. So he's the first one to submit. If you'd like to have your review done, go ahead and submit it. And I'm going to just write this copy live for you. And I'm going to give Mike a different way of marketing his funnel. I know what he's doing. He's doing high-ticket sales. So good business. I also am in that industry as well. I'm a little bit familiar with it. So very, very good industry. So he's selling high-ticket education. So I'm going through his sales page, and a lot of people, they do these critiques and they just critique stuff. They don't. In fact, somebody did one for us. We submitted a advertorial that we know works, and they did this critique, and I was like, it's kind of lame. So I wanted to do it different. I wanted to create a custom masterpiece for you, Mike. And so I'm going to go over here to my advertorial launch site, Venture Insider Club, which most of you guys know I launch a lot of stuff off, or test stuff rather. So I'm going to create a new post. All right. And we're going to create an advertorial. Okay, so right now, Mike's sales page is discover how to close high-ticket clients every day using sales funnels, right? So what would happen to your business if your calendar was filled with pre-sold dream clients to talk to every single day? Okay, that'd be pretty good. So here's what strikes me about this advertorial, or this ad, all right, is that this is obviously catered to somebody that's familiar with sales. So it's already talking about pipelines. It's already talking about funnels. It's already talking about salesmanship, closing deals. So off the bat, I know the audience I'm speaking to are salespeople. All right, so I need to talk like a salesperson, just like Mike's doing in this advertorial. I need to appeal to what salespeople want. What I like with this is that he definitely knows his client market, but he's not hitting on the pain points that will get the client or this potential client to really say, hey, look, I need Mike. He may say, hey, look, he's speaking to me, but I don't currently feel like I need Mike to fill something in my life. And if you want to sell high ticket, and I'm not saying Mike does this very successfully, by the way. I've done JV with Mike. Mike is very successful at this, so he already obviously knows what he's doing, okay? So what I'm going to do is, with this advertorial, I want to soften up this hardcore sales pitch. All right, so if Mike is sending just cold traffic to this page, he's going to have a hard time getting it to convert. So imagine this. Imagine you're at a party, and you walk into the party with this, like, trench coat, and then you go up to everyone with, like, hey, I'm Mike, and I sell this. and you open it up, and you have all types of trinkets and treasures. Oh, probably should have done that. Should have done it on this one. You have all types of trinkets and treasures in your jacket, right? You're probably going to turn a lot of people off. They're going to be like, "Who the fuck is this Mike guy? He just walking into the party, trying to pitch his stuff. We don't even know who he is. We don't know, like, and trust this guy. Get him out of the party." Right? So essentially, Facebook is a giant party. All right? So when you're advertising to people on Facebook, you gotta understand this is a social circle for them. So if you just come in hardcore with a sales pitch, they're going to turn people off. And they're going to go back to their social circle. Why do they want to be sold something right now? They're having a good time with this party. Right? So what we want to do is soften it up. So we're going to come up, that's the beauty of the advertorial. Because it softens up this hardcore sales pitch you're giving people. All right, so I'm going to start with this. Now, I have a blog post over here that I did pretty well with, and I know other people have copied it and done extremely well with. I know somebody, I'm not going to name names, who did something like a couple $1 million with this advertorial, or just basically rip off of it. So I'm going to kind of model Mike's after this because it has a very similar goal. Okay, so what we noticed first off is how an online entrepreneur built a 7-figure business with blog posts. Okay, very informative. You feel like you're going to learn something, right? At first you look at that and you're like, hey, I want to learn how this online smart entrepreneur built a 7-figure business. The pictures of me doing something, I'm not in a suit. I'm not like I'm not on a stage with my microphone sticking out, like doing this thing to people. It's me on a bike with my girlfriend looking like I'm having a good time, right? It's like, okay, this guy, it's like he's just like me. On a bike, selfie stick, girl in the back, cool. So this is me introducing myself to the party. Hey, it's Ronnie Sandlin over here. I'm just this dude on my bike. I'm cool, right? That's how you introduce yourself, right? You get them to know a little bit about you. Okay? And so we're going to try to start to emulate. Now, Mike, I don't have good pictures of you doing that type of stuff, so I'm going to do this without the image. Yeah.
Hey, one thing, I think your desktop connection.
Okay, how about now?
It's not over.
Huh.
So you're live right now.
Okay, how about that? How about now? I just paused it and resumed it. Really? Try doing another clip and then going back. Yeah. You're still getting used to all this software. I mean, really, truly, this is so much to put together and do on top of running my other businesses. Okay, so, all right. So we could say how an online, so who are we catering to? Again, we talked about this. We're catering to salespeople. How this salesperson built a 7-figure pipeline with simple blog posts or something like that. With simple, I'm going to do it with this because I know that works. I don't know Mike's exact strategy, but I'm sure he could incorporate some blog posts into his overall strategy. Or he could change the title to fit his strategy a little tighter. All right? How this salesperson built a 7-figure pipeline with simple blog posts. If he targets this to the Grant Cardones, right? To the who's the other big sales guys? Grant Cardone's probably the biggest one, right? If he targets the people that are salespeople, what's going on? Everything good?
So it keeps the desktop center keeps shut off.
How about now?
I mean, I can do the same thing.
That's strange. That's very, very strange. Okay, you sure? Okay. All right. Well, if we have to, I may have to redo this. I apologize, but we still, I don't know why I'm supposed to just work effortlessly. I may have to contact customer support. So hopefully this is still going to work. Okay. So how this salesperson built a 7-figure pipeline with simple blog posts, right? So we're talking to salespeople. We're targeting Grant Cardone. We're targeting salespeople. We're trying to fill up their pipeline. That's the goal. So what does that mean? So the average person filling their pipeline doesn't mean anything. If I said, hey, Mom, I want to fill your pipeline. Yeah, that sounds terrible, right? Jesus. Okay, so if I said like to the average person, I'm going to fill your pipeline, it sounds terrible actually. Anyone, don't ever say that to somebody. But if you say that to a salesperson, I'm going to fill your pipeline, they're going to be like, dude, that's dope. I need my pipeline filled, right? So obviously we're talking to salespeople, you know? So so automatically we're going to get their interest because we're going to say, this speaks to me. And we're going to deflect the interest from people not qualified. So the average person is going to look at that, not want to click on it. So what does that do? That saves you advertising costs because you don't want people. Okay, I think it ended again.
I have it on you right now. You're not writing.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm back to writing. Okay. So hopefully this works. I'm just going to try to write this live. Don't know why we're having so many technical difficulties over here. So I'm going to model a little bit. Okay. Never been able to spell entrepreneurs right. I think I've spelled it once right in my whole life. Then I worded this. Ooh. I like that. I'll copy my own copy. That's great. But put this up here. There's secretly. Oh, I like Quiet Revolution. Shit, I'm a good copywriter. All right, I'm just going to copy this. There has been a quiet revolution with millennial entrepreneurs leveraging, proving just to be lucrative for savvy sales people. Ooh, I'm a savvy salesperson. All right then. No. Let's add Mike's name into this. Is it still showing on my screen? We're all good?
I have to keep switching, but
Okay. All right. Well, we'll work on this, guys. We'll work on this together. You bear with me. I'm going to keep giving you amazing information and just absolute quality training. And by the way, hello. How's it going, Dario? How's it going, Chad? Thank you, everyone, for joining. We're doing live copywriting. Okay. Is one of those God, I've never been able to. Entrepreneurs. Those entrepreneurs. Boring blog post. I like that boring blog post. I like that. Who has been to these networking meetings, these so-called business networking meetings, where everyone has their business card ready to sell you something, but nobody's buying, right? I've definitely been to my share. Chamber of Commerce is one of the worst. The person is going to feel that pain. I'm hitting them with that pain. I was tired of making enough, just enough to survive. I knew there had to be a better way. I was tired of cold calling. I was tired of going to these networking meetings where it's like I like to say that networking meetings are like going to a singles bar full of dudes jacked up on boner pills. It's just like a bunch of just like, oh, spy for me. You're getting no action there. So this is not the way to sell. So you're already saying, telling them, look, there's a better way. I was just like you. In fact, probably even a little bit worse. Hello, everyone. All right. I was tired of making just enough to survive. I knew there had to be a way to attract leads daily that wanted to buy from me. I was tired of cold calling and going to networking meetings where everyone is selling and no one is buying. No, I already said that. Broke. I don't like this. I don't like where we're going with that. And sometimes I'll bring in like the wizard angle, which is like I met this other mythical wizard who showed me the way, and now I can now show you the way and become your wizard. That's definitely an archetype I like to use in my advertorial. I don't know if I'm going to use that in particular. Thank you, Chad. All right. I was just making enough to constantly be broke. So we got to figure out, how does he discover this new way, right? So either a wizard comes and shows him, or he uncovers something. So that would be like manna from heaven. He had a stroke of inspiration. Typically, I like to go the wizard route because it has stronger archetypal effectiveness. So, for example, if you look at like Star Wars was so impactful because Yoda, and that's why people love the Yoda character. Yoda was the wizard. Okay, Yoda was this wizard with higher knowledge that was going to pass on greater knowledge to the Luke Skywalker, right? Which Luke Skywalker represented the every guy, the boring every guy, basically. So this guy is the boring every guy, right? He's a hero, but they haven't met the wizard that will turn him to the hero. Okay, so Luke Skywalker was always the hero of Star Wars, right? But it wasn't until he met two key wizards, one of them being Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the other one being Yoda, that he fully was able to come into his own as a hero, right? So what we want to do is, as Mike being a teacher, the wizard archetype is a very, very good archetype to model because people resonate to it. It's very powerful. Okay, Gandalf, right, is another great example. So Frodo Baggins wasn't a hero at first. He was this timid, scared, every guy, a hobbit, right? Boring. So he was a boring dude, a normal dude. It wasn't until he met the wizard that he became Frodo the Great. What did they call him? Did they have a name for him in the books? Frodo. into the hero. Didn't they have a better Frodo the Conqueror or something? Okay, all right. Shows how much of Tolkien lore that I remembered. Okay, so anyway, going back to this. Who's the wizard? The wizard could be another salesperson. The wizard could be another retired person that imparted this knowledge onto this person, but that wouldn't make sense because how could it be a retired person showing in the blog? It's not congruent, right? So this has to be something like this whiz kid, right? Whiz kid, like a wizard kid. Lance, to answer your question, I'm going to give this over to Mike as a document, and whatever he decides to do with it is up to him. This is just a free copywriting workshop I'm doing for those of you guys. If you want to show that post again, Steve, for those of you guys that saw this post, you can go back to my post and comment if you would like your own. What I'm doing right here, which I charge $3,000 per advertorial to write custom, right? So, and believe me, I have more than enough people willing to pay me $3,000 to do this, but I'm going to do this for free for you guys. And, I think that's cool. That's just something, it's my gift to you for watching. I know that it's your time. Your time is valuable, and I want to reward you, and I'm going to continue rewarding you guys for tuning in lots of different ways. So this is just one of them. So anyway, going back to this. I was making just enough to be broke. We got to introduce the wizard. It wasn't until and how did I do it? Let's go back. Sometimes I go back to my, okay, with this one, I didn't even use the wizard because I guess I'm the wizard, right? So I just must have thought I was so great at the time I wrote this. I discovered that simply by creating blog posts, okay, all right, well, I discovered it. I'm going to use a wizard in this. Let's go back to the wizard analogy since I spent so much time talking to you guys about it. I was making enough to constantly be broke. It wasn't until I met this sales woman. Ooh, let's see what a woman. I don't know how that'll play. I'd like to test this. But just for the sake, I'd like to test this. The sales woman. I should say person. Let's just leave it neutral. We don't need to bring identity politics into this, do we? All right? It wasn't until I met this salesperson. Steve's over here shaking his head. It wasn't until I met this salesperson who was one of the top 3 sellers in the country. No, I don't want to do that. Because what we're doing is trying to position them into a high ticket sales. That's what Mike's doing. So we don't want to have them just be better at what they're doing. We want this wizard to tell them, hey, look, you're doing this all wrong. You're selling items for a low ticket. And in order to do that, you have to sell a lot of them versus selling a few items for high ticket. Well, no, most people don't know what high ticket and low ticket means, so I have to educate them in this advertorial, right? So what Mike is doing is he's sending people to this hardcore sales page with very insider terms. It's saying funnel, it's saying high ticket, low ticket, pipeline. So only very few people know what this even means. Okay, he's assuming that a lot of people are going to read this and they're totally turned off because they don't understand the language. So the advertorial, the beauty of the advertorial is that we now get to educate them and introduce ourselves and bring them further along down the sales process. Lance, I am just trying to make a template of sorts. Read through David Frey's foolproof sales letter per your recommendation. Thanks. Yeah, that is one of the, honestly, man, I'm telling people they could go read David Frey's foolproof sales letter. Just Google it and avoid a marketing college degree. If you just read that, though, it's like a couple pages long. I keep it around. I read it all the time. Keep it bookmarked. They will be so much better of a marketer than almost anyone. It's insane how you can condense so much knowledge into just one little blog post. But that's the beauty of being a marketer, right? Our job is to communicate with people as concisely and as effectively as possible. So as a copywriter, that's also my goal, is to be an effective communicator and be concise. So within an advertorial, it may seem counterintuitive to send them to a blog post first. but it's actually, when you look at how it functions as a tool to introduce yourself, it's very, very effective and very, very efficient at how it works. Okay, so don't get all PC on us. Hey man, you know me, you guys know me, I'm extremely identitarian. So it wasn't until I met this salesman who was in the top 3 I was selling at the time. Okay, so no, so I want to delete this. It wasn't until I met. Ooh. It's worded weird. So a lot of this, I'm just going to kind of freestyle it, and then I like to go back, and I'm not going to do this on the live stream because that takes a little more time, but I'll go back and say, is this the most efficient way of saying this concept? You see, every paragraph is pretty much like a new concept. Every paragraph, you notice my paragraphs aren't 4 sentences long, they're generally 2 sentences long. It's because people don't like to read. And if you have everything chunked together in big, big paragraphs like you're supposed to do, people get turned off and they tune into something else. So every few sentences is trying to sell you into the next sentence. I'm just buying, every sentence has to be impactful and sell you into the next sentence, sell you into the next paragraph, continue selling you, continue bringing you down the rabbit hole, right? And that's why we like to use Hotjar. I really need an affiliate link with Hotjar. I recommend it so much. I'm sure they have something. Hotjar, and we put this, I'm not going to put this on this one, but this is a great way to analyze how people are interacting with their advertorial. And what I like is not just their heat map, they have visitor recordings. So it'll actually record how a visitor goes through your ad. You can actually see your visitors react and read and see how they're reading it. This tool is so valuable. Just me mentioning this on a live stream for free is insane. Like, this is the type of stuff that I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising before I even discovered these tools, before I learned about them, before I was forced to learn about them to improve my own copy, improve my mastery of my business. Okay, going back to this. Okay, so that my life changed with fresh dealer plates on. No, brand new with plates that said closer. Let's see that. Or like, is that enough? I don't know if it's. We'll modify this a little if we need. So I like using the car wash because car wash men and their, and let's just call it for what it is. It's going to be a very male-driven market that he's selling to. Not to say he can't sell to women, but it's going to be a different funnel. I would almost just do a different funnel for women and a different advertorial for women. But test it. Sometimes we do that, and it works very effectively because there's different psychology behind the woman process and the male process. If you'd like to learn more about that, the book. Do I have it over here? Should probably organize these a little better. There's a book Joseph Campbell did called The Goddess Psychology, Goddess Mythology. I'm trying to see, hope I don't find it in the next few seconds, and I'll just give up looking. The problem of having such a big library. I need to keep this a little more organized. Okay, anyway. You can look it up. Joseph Campbell wrote it. It's about the psychology of the goddess, essentially psychology of the woman, and how you can basically write better. It's not meant for that, but I've read it and it's helped me understand a little bit because I'm just a dense guy, right? I'm just a dense dude, don't understand women. I needed the help, and that will help you. So this one's going to be for men. I knew immediately that I had to talk to this guy. I mean, women could resonate with this too, but test is what I'm trying to say. I knew I had to go talk to this guy. I mean, anyone that was driving a Bentley with closer plates. Let's see if I can find closer plates. I'm sure it's like on some type of Bentley or something. Copy. There's probably like a All right, I would do a little bit more research because I almost guarantee you could find like a Bentley or a Ferrari or one of these nice cars, and you just change the advertorial to accommodate whichever car, right? So to take the picture of like I guarantee you there's a Ferrari or a Bentley that says closer out there somewhere. Okay, I'm not seeing one immediately, but do your research. I guarantee you, this is what I do all day. I know there's one out here. Okay, whatever. I mean, okay, I knew immediately I had to go talk to this guy. I mean, anyone that was driving a Bentley with closer plates had to be I was able to catch him. No. Yeah, this is becoming a little. I need to work on it's a little off. I like this, but I don't want to get too much into like dialogue of their conversation. I'm not writing a fucking novel here. So let me reread this. This is when I like to go over the top and make sure I'm staying in focus on my main point. Mysteries of the Feminine Divine. Got it. Thank you, Dario. In fact, I do have this shit, man. You're making me want to look for this fucking book since I'm recommending it. All right. Well, shit. I need somewhere. All right. Thank you for that, by the way, Dario. Okay. So, I immediately asked him, what the heck do you do for... Ooh, got it. This is where we introduce and educate the term high ticket, right? Because this is where his sales page hits you with high ticket. It's literally this headline: how to discover how to close high ticket clients. So what the fuck is high ticket? Okay, well, to make a story short, he told me 2 words that will forever change my life. doesn't that sell you into the next paragraph? To make a long story short, he told me 2 words that will forever change my life. Those 2 words may not sound like anything to you, but this was literally my ticket to a life I could only imagine. If this is valuable to you, could you comment? Extremely valuable, bomb copy, thank you. That gives me energy. And also, not that it just gives me energy. I don't need the energy. Clearly hyped about doing this. It just shows Facebook algorithm to share this and spread the message a little bit more. Really, that's what it does. So the more engagement this live stream gets, the more people are going to see it, and the more people are going to spread. It's going to spread this message and help build this community. Okay, because I want to build this. I want to do this with you. You guys are like the first people that are actually. You're going to look back and say, I remember when Ronnie was still, in this little office, and now he's blowing up, type of thing. And I want you to be there with me and be a part of this and go through this journey with me or with us. It's our journey, really, because we're all going to get very, very wealthy doing this if you follow the strategies. Okay. Thank you, Dario. Okay, so this was literally my ticket to a life I could only imagine. These 2 words were high ticket. Hold that bad boy. Basically, those 2 words were high ticket. We've all heard of successful tech entrepreneurs becoming overnight millionaires. Recently, we've been hearing a lot about overnight crypto millionaires, but that is no longer the only rags to riches story to be told. There has been a quiet revolution happening with millennial entrepreneurs leveraging their blogs and Facebook advertisements, proving to be just as lucrative for savvy salespeople. Mike Bontempo is one of these entrepreneurs. Bontempo has built a 7-figure business simply by leveraging boring blog posts to attract new sales into his pipeline. I was tired of just making enough to survive. I knew there had to be a way to attract leads daily, but that wanted to buy from me. I was tired of cold calling and going to networking meetings where everyone is selling and no one is buying. I was making just enough to be constantly broke. It wasn't until I was a car wash. It wasn't until I was a car wash. I was at a car wash. I was at a car wash washing my beat up Honda that I saw this young guy walk out of his brand new Bentley with plates that said closer. I knew immediately I had to go talk to this guy. I mean, anyone that's driving a Bentley with closer plates had to be worth talking to, right? After waiting for the perfect opportunity to talk to him, I summoned up the courage to go speak with him. I was immediately surprised by how friendly and approachable he really was. To make a long story short, he told me 2 words that will forever change my life. Those 2 words may not sound like anything to you, but this was literally my ticket to a life I could only imagine. These 2 words were high ticket. Okay? Basically, high ticket means selling items for large amounts of money rather than For example, don't you agree that you will make more money if you simply made more profits per deal? I mean, it was almost too stupidly obvious. He said to me, look, Mike, right now you're selling and putting all of your energy and focus on deals that ultimately don't make you much money. Even if you were the greatest salesperson in the world, there are only so many hours in the day and so many people in a day you can talk to sell your products and make money off of. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to publish it. All right, so it needs some photos. I'm going to put in some images later. It's starting to get a little long, so we may want to start to make it a little bit more concise, but this is the first draft. And here's immediately what gets me. Okay, so it is broken up into paragraphs, but it's very boring to look at. This looks very, very boring. It doesn't look readable yet. So here is where we're going to start. I'm going to start doing a little bit of styling. See, like, I'll show you in comparison. We have this right here. Awesome. Kind of breaks up. You see how it kind of breaks it up visually? I don't know why it's that color. Turn that bad boy black. should add a little bit of, make it a little more appealing to read. So already off the bat, I can see, okay, it looks more appealing. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is do this. Page 3. Let's see what this looks like. Aesthetics matter. And I've done Ooh, that looks pretty good. Robert, sometimes, I mean, if you saw my last live stream I did 2 live streams ago, I definitely was showing campaigns that I've made. I mean, I showed a campaign I shouldn't have showed that made me well over 7 figures. You can go back to that live stream and watch it. But some of them I do. I mean, some of them, I mean, I test all day long. I'm writing copy all day long. And this is people say, how do you get so good? Well, I get good because I practice. I've written a lot of copy. I write for people. If you'd like me to write copy for, obviously I'm giving you the opportunity to submit your copy now. This is a limited time thing, only for the next 72 hours. After that, if you'd like me to actually write your copy and get in depth with you, we do that as a consulting service and private messages. And, we've had tremendous results for our clients. I was tired of just making enough to survive. I knew there had to be a way to track leads daily. Okay, looks a little bit better. I want to do a quick version. I love these quick versions because they're so impactful. So I'll show you what that means. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to undo this. I'll put that there. And I'm going to do a quick thing right here. Oops. Salespeople. Savvy salespeople. Ooh. Ooh, neat. This is where we're going to put the link. Right here. That looks much better, right? Some people don't want to read this whole thing, right? They're going to click here. You're going to see a lot of people clicking here. Why did it not? Well, there should be a link. So now we need to start to break up this text a little bit. Okay, getting better. The secrets to large commissions. The secret to large commissions. So why am I doing this? I'll show you why. Most people don't read. So we want to give people a summary of the whole blog without reading. How the salesperson built a seven-figure pipeline with simple blog posts. Quick version. All right. Savvy salespeople discover the secret to selling large commission deals, daily information. Sweet. Some people will just click there. Or they're going to be like, okay, that's a quick version. What's the whole thing? What are they trying to, what's the angle? So they're going to scroll through. They're going to see, oh, it's tired. That's cool. All right. Well, I can relate to that. Okay. Well, here's the goods. They're going to probably ignore some of this at first. See, the way people read, I found, and that's the aha moment I had with Hotjar, is that they're not necessarily reading linear. And so you might catch yourself doing, I definitely caught myself doing it. You're actually reading it more of like, I'm looking at the summary, I'm looking at the cliff notes, I want to see if it's even worth my time. And then I'll invest the time reading. I want to kind of get a quick outline of what this whole thing is about before I actually invest my limited life and my energy and time into this blog. The secret to large commissions. So they're just going to say, okay, to make a long, and this is where I say to make a long story short. Okay, well, good. That's what I wanted. I want a long story short. He told me 2 words that will forever change my life. See, if they just didn't read any of this and they just wanted to read The Secret, they're in a whole new story. They don't need to read all of this to understand all of this. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how I'm creating multiple different ways of reading my advertorial? I'm creating multiple different. Okay, choose your own adventure, bud. Okay. To make a long story short, he told me 2 words that will forever change my life. Those 2 words may not sound like anything to you, but this was literally my ticket to a life I could only imagine. These 2 words were high ticket. Basically, obviously grammar issues. High ticket means selling items for large amounts of profits rather than low ticket, which means selling items that don't pay you much commission. For example, don't you agree that you'll make more money if you simply made more profit per deal? I mean, it sounds almost too stupidly obvious. He said to me, look, Mike, right now you're selling and putting all of your energy and focus on deals that ultimately don't make you much money. Even if you were the greatest salesperson in the world, there are only so many hours in the day and so many people in a day you could talk to sell your product and make money off of. By simply selling products that make you a higher commission, you're instantly increasing your income and lifestyle. I said, that's easier said than done. If you don't have these buyers to sell these so-called high-ticket sales, then none of this matters. He then told me a second key piece of information I needed that changed. Okay, so this is where I want to break it up. So this is, I talk about the first secret. So I want to break this up into the second secret. Okay, so So it basically gives away the whole thing. Boring blog post, right? Let's take a look at this. How this salesperson built a 7-figure pipeline with simple blog posts. We've all heard of successful tech entrepreneurs becoming overnight millionaires. Okay, so I was tired of making just enough to survive. We have the quick version. Okay. The secret to large commissions. Boring blog posts were a secret weapon. See, this is to somebody that's a sales guy. It's pretty cool. I'm going to learn how to the secret to large commissions. I'm going to learn about boring. I'm going to learn why boring blog posts were a secret weapon. All right. So where are we going with this? Now we got to start to ending it because this is starting to become a long advertorial, and we don't want super long advertorials. That's not the point of advertorial. So it's starting in the long side. If I continue telling the story, it's going to lose the point of the article, which is to make money, get them to the sales page. So the point of an advertorial, by the way, okay, is to get them into your sales process. Again, it's like introducing yourself to the party. Hey, this is who I am. This is why you should listen to me. This is why I have information relevant to you. And then they click on the free click here. Then they go into the hardcore sales process where he's hardcore selling his product. Okay. So if you notice, my advertorial here is very short. Of course, I did a video in here. Okay. So different, slightly different. Okay, so that kind of bridges this with there, right? It says, hey, this guy is successful now, but it wasn't always like that. I kind of forgot to put that up there. Okay. How quickly and easily leads started flowing in. Let's just hit them with the. Oops. Simple how to learn more. What does he call it? Facebook high ticket and then I'm going to put a little disclaimer. Venture no, not commissions, let's make it small. Perfect. And then we're going to do I got image call to action, maybe not that, but some image, some button, probably click here to learn more. Basically just a click here to learn more button. Let's just do click. It's going to be a button, works better, but for the sake of whatever, for the sake of time here, you get the idea. And that's why you should be joining the School of Hidden Knowledge so you get more info on more of the higher level tricks that we're doing. Of course, I'm showing you as much as I can for free, but of course, if you're part of School of Hidden Knowledge, you not only get access to the group, but you also get strategies and secrets that if I were to share live stream, my team would just kill me. So I try to give you the goods for free. I know not everyone has all the money. People say, well, if you're doing so well, then why don't you give out your systems for free? And I always just link to my free training that I do give out. So consider this a public service for you guys. I just want to help you guys submit your copy if you haven't. I'm kind of call this a wrap. There's still, obviously, it's a very rough draft. We have grammatical errors. We have stuff that we need to fine tune it. But that's not very exciting. It's very boring. So I just wanted to give you the skeleton, the template that you can use to create your own advertorials. And we're going to continue doing this. I'm going to do a couple of these probably a week until I've finished all the people that submit their copy review stuff. And I'm not just doing a review. I'm creating new custom masterpieces. So very high value, worth several $1,000s. I highly recommend you take advantage of it and submit your copy. You can see if you can show the thing one more time. There, the Ask Me Anything. Yeah, here's the post right here. There's the Ask Me Anything. It should be showing up on your screen. You can go find it in my profile, and it will. It should show up and comment. And definitely, let's look at your copy. Let's work together. And I also have a case study that we're doing with messenger bots that we're going to be doing live with my Danish compadres, my Danish companions, maybe not compadre, my Danish buds. And we have a site that we put up that we're going to be doing this insane case study where we're going to be spending money, showing you day 1, day 2, day 3, how we spend our money, our profits we're making, and it's going to be insane. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in. I know this was a little bit of a longer one and a little bit more of a boring one because it's me writing copy. But I think this is one of the more valuable ones because you can just see my thought process and how we write converting advertorials that make profit. So I'm going to shoot this over to Mike. Hopefully he likes it. Was there anything else I needed to go over? I think that's pretty much good. I'm just going to go and wrap this up until next time. Life is too short to get rich slow. Hey, it's Ronnie Sandlin, and I'm over here in Dominican Republic in Punta Cana. I'm just hanging out on a pier, and I'm glad that you're here with me because in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be traveling the world, and I want you to come along and see if this is the right field for you. If you're interested in internet marketing, if you're interested in starting an online business, I would definitely invite you to come along and see what the School of Hidden Knowledge is all about, and see if this is the right fit for you.
Baby, know I got that gravestone feel. I'ma run till I break my. Hey, run.
couple of years ago, I was dead broke, like negative $60 in my bank account. I had to raise $60 just to be at zero. There's so much an amazing world and amazing people to meet and amazing experiences to have that to limit yourself to just that kind of cycle and that loop of a 9 to 5, I don't think that's living. And I think this is living. But another thing that's really cool is walking around with no intentionality. So no intentionality means that you don't have an agenda, which is something that I believe a lot of people don't have because they're stuck in a job, they're stuck in a cycle where every day is kind of the same repeating loop. And some people never break that cycle, but I learned that once I broke that cycle and was able to live my life free of intentionality, free of boundaries, that to me is the absolute level of freedom that I couldn't see myself living without anymore. I could not live without that freedom to be able to just travel and be able to go to the country I want, to visit friends in any country. It now feels like the whole world is my backyard. By all means, this is not some get-rich-quick scheme or, building a business is building a business. This is building an online business. It requires a skill set, it requires working capital, and it requires the ability and the tenacity to go get what you want. But if this is something that interests you, there's so many people living this lifestyle, being able to travel, being able to work from their computer anywhere around the world with an internet connection, that it's a no-brainer if this is the lifestyle you want. It's available for you, it's out there, and I invite you to come grab it if this is something that interests you. So come along.
So how you like me now that I'm free? You know you could come along, run your feet. So follow me, you're in place you will be. The cards are in your hands, you can change your destiny. 'Cause ashes, we all fall down. Truth is all my heroes are living underground. But what's the point of me running so fast? Got the dirt between my toes and I want it to last.